Before you make any investment decision or before you take a hard look at what you already own, there are 5 questions that you need to be able to answer. Not after the money is in, but before. Most people can't answer any of them, and that gap between what they think they have and what they actually have is costing them more than they know. I want to tell you about a school teacher who came into my office after her husband passed away. She had a $2 million portfolio. She was paying a 1% management fee to her current advisor. Seemed reasonable to her, but when we reviewed the internal costs of the investments themselves, there was an additional 1% that no one had ever shown her. So 2% total, I said, on a $2 million portfolio, that's $40,000 a year. She looked at me and said, "You mean just like one time?" I said, "No, every single year." She went quiet for a moment, and then she said, "My daughter works as a charter school teacher. She barely makes $45,000 a year." That's when the numbers became real. Not a percentage, a life, a salary disappearing every year from an account that she thought she understood. That's why these 5 questions matter. And that's why I'm going to walk you through every single one of them today. I'm Stuart Dickson with HD Money. 18 years working with real families through real markets in real life. This is the conversation we have with every new client who walks right through our door. And it's the conversation that most people never have. Before we get into the 5 questions, I want to give you the philosophy that sits underneath all of them. 3 things every investor should be able to answer about everything they own. What do you have? Why do you have it? And how is it working for you? If you can't answer all 3 clearly, specifically, and confidently, the 5 questions I'm going to give you are where you start. Question number 1, what is the cost of this investment internally and externally as a percentage? There are 2 layers of this cost in almost every investment. The internal cost is the expense ratio or the management fee inside the fund or the product itself. This is what the investments charge you just to exist inside it. And the external cost, the advisor fee, platform fee, or commission paid on top, this is what you pay for the relationship to manage it. Both are real and both come out of your return. And most people have only ever been shown one, if they've been shown any at all. The question isn't whether fees exist. The question is whether you know what both layers are and whether what you're getting is worth what you're paying. Question number 2, what is the same cost in actual dollars? This is where the school teacher's story lives. Percentages are abstract. 1% sounds small. 2% sounds manageable. But on a $2 million portfolio, 2% is $40,000 a year. Every year, whether the market goes up or down, whether you need the money or not, it comes out. And over a 20-year retirement, that's not just the fee itself. It's everything the money would have grown into if it had stayed invested. When I told the school teacher it was $40,000 a year and she connected it to her daughter's salary, the percentage stopped mattering. The dollar amount made it feel real. Always ask for the dollar amount. And if this is hitting close at home, hit subscribe. I post 1 to 2 new videos every week right here, all of it for free. Question 3 is the one that catches people most off guard. Question 3, how did this investment perform in 2008 and 2009? I want to be clear about something before I explain why this matters. We are not saying that another 2008 is coming tomorrow. We don't know that. Nobody does. But we know it has happened, and we know that the market dropped more than 50% between October of 2007 and March of 2009. And here's the question that matters is what you currently own today. Has it been modeled through that scenario at your current age and your current retirement timeline? Because what you could handle at 45 is not the same as what you can handle at 62. At 45, you had time to recover. You can keep working. The market comes back. At 62, you may be living on this money, and a 30 to 40% drop just hurt the balance sheet. It forces decisions, selling at the worst possible time, adjusting a lifestyle that you've spent decades building, taking income from a portfolio that hasn't recovered. Nobody likes to be surprised by downside risk. And not everyone can sleep with a 30 or 40% on the table. Some people are already taking that risk and they have no idea. Question number 4. What are the tax implications of this investment? This goes deeper than most people realize. It's not just whether this investment generates a taxable gain, it's where this investment is being held and whether that's the right account for it. We've talked about asset location before. The wrong investment in the wrong account can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands over the course of a retirement. A bond fund generating ordinary interest income sitting in a taxable brokerage account, taxed every year at your full rate, that same bond fund inside of a traditional IRA grows without annual taxation, compounding instead of leaking. Your highest growth investments, they belong inside your Roth, where every dollar of the growth is tax-free forever. That investment isn't the whole picture. Where it lives determines how much of it you actually keep. If no one has walked you through this, that conversation is overdue. We're almost at the end, and question number 5 is the one that most people never even think to ask. And it's the one that catches people at the absolute worst moment. Question 5, what are the liquidity features of this investment? In plain English, if you needed this money tomorrow, could you get to it? And what would it cost you to do so? A lot of investments, annuities, certain alternative investments, real estate funds, private placements, come with surrender charges, lockup periods, redemption fees, penalties for early withdrawals. Most people who buy these products, they know they exist in theory. They don't know what they actually look like until they need the money. And needing money is almost never at a convenient time. A health emergency, a family situation, a market opportunity, a life change that no one planned for. The investment that looked accessible wasn't. And finding that out at the wrong moment is one of the most painful financial experiences that I have watched people go through. Always understand the liquidity before the money goes in. Ask the question before you need the answer. 5 questions. What is the cost as a percentage? What is the cost in dollars? How did it perform in 2008 and 2009? And does it match your risk tolerance today? What are the tax implications? And is the investment in the right account? And what are the liquidity features? If you need this money, could you get it? Most people have never walked through any of these, not because the questions are complicated, because no one is asking them. The school teacher who came into my office didn't know she was paying $40,000 a year until someone showed her. What don't you know about what you own? That's what 18 years in this work has taught me. And it's why I keep showing up here every week, putting the same conversations I have with clients right here for free. And if you want to know whether your investments can answer all 5 of these questions, take the HD Money Retirement Quiz. The link is in the description, takes about 2 minutes. And hey, if this is helpful, subscribe so you can catch next week's video. I'll see you then.